So, uh, yeah, and the tips that you gave are very useful. I've learned a lot. Thank you so much. You've actually covered way more ground, and I really like that you went into all the sectors of what it means to be at peace in your own body and in your own with your own mind and so forth. So you covered a lot of ground, and I really enjoyed your presentation. I'm going to talk a bit about what I found to be useful for myself. Some of these things might.
Sorry for interruption, Elena. May you just like in live show it for the full screen?
Yes. With
Yeah.
slideshow?
Yeah.
Okay. How does this
Thanks
work
a lot.
now?
Yeah, I guess
Okay.
it's perfect. Thank you.
Okay. So I'm going to talk about a few things that work for me. These things might also work for you, but I've tried quite a few things ever since the start of my PhD in 2017, and with COVID, it's fair to say that all of us, and myself included, have tried many things to stay on top of the work and on top of being healthy, both mentally and physically. So for me personally, and I think this applies on a broader audience as well, productivity correlates a lot with mental health. For instance, I might have a deadline on my research in a few days, and I might take more to finish that, or it might be too tough and I might not get started on it. What I would do then is postpone my meeting with my supervisor, and then feel bad, and then maybe start working on it just 2 days prior to the next meeting, or to the postponed meeting, and so forth. So it snowballs into something that I could have avoided very easily from the beginning. So this happened a few times, and it's fair to say that my deadlines were pushed and so forth, and there were a few things that I've tried in order to get myself back on track. So for me, and one more note on that, I think I've heard of or read somewhere that procrastination is the direct cause of your fear to take actions in a way, which also correlates to the fact that you might find something very difficult to do. Even though you might have the time and energy to do it, you might not start that task that you have to work on, just because you are afraid that you might have to put a lot more work than you initially estimated. So for me, a couple of things worked ever since we started working from home. First of all, I have a regular morning schedule. I try to wake up around the same time, maybe 7, 8. It depends on the time I went to bed the night before. I try to do activities, very similar activities every day. So for instance, make coffee, feed my cats, take shower, and then get dressed. And I noticed that when I dress better, similar to my attire when going to the lab, I feel a bit better. I feel a bit more in control of my day, and I haven't measured how many things or how much time I work extra if I dress better, but at least that's what I felt. And also, I noticed that to be productive and keep working, giving your fullest throughout the day, you need to take breaks, regular breaks. And Jan mentioned lots of good suggestions of breaks. You can take a leisure walk, you can take a productive walk, and by that I mean you have to, let's say, go do groceries and throw the garbage at the same time, and also take a walk. You can do all these 3 things in one walk and feel good about yourself that you also took a walk. And then you can do a brief physical exercise either before dinner, outside, or before lunch and so forth, or early in the morning. And then these are just a few things to structure the day. And I noticed that when I start on the right foot, then my day goes way smoother than if I move my routine 2 hours post the hour when I start doing stuff, maybe at 7:30 or something like that. And then I have tried a bunch of apps and software that helps me stay on top of my meetings and so forth. And what worked for me is the Google Calendar. I just track everything there. My meetings, I set reminders and so forth. If it's not in my Google Calendar, it might not happen. So, and also there is an option that you can enable desktop notifications and phone notifications so that you never miss a meeting and an important event. I use Trello and I really like it, and I add tasks there. And when I have a very big task to do on my research, the most important thing to get started on it is to break it down in as smaller chunks as possible. And I add everything in my to-do bucket, and I might assign reminders, soft and hard deadlines, and so forth. And it's a pretty neat app, Trello. And then in Zoom, you can also set desktop notifications to the meetings that you input in Zoom. So that might also help to just never forget a meeting. And even if it's, for instance, even if it's it doesn't have to be a formal meeting, even if it's a chat with a friend, it can be in your Google Calendar. Even if it's your weekly laundry hour, it can be in your calendar and so forth. So the more structure you have in your day and in your week, the better, because you are creating a system which helps you stay on top of all these things and helps you not only, be more productive at your work because you are taking a few breaks during the day to do stuff that are not related to work, but also helps you feel better in the space that you live and so forth. I went on a tangent with advice on how to keep things neat at home too, although sometimes it gets out of control. So that's on productivity while working from home. It's very important to have a few systems in place that help you stay on top of your tasks. And then on exercise, I've tried a few things. I've recently discovered that UBC Recreation Center offers synchronous full body workouts, and I copied this information from them. Every Tuesday they have lunch crunch, and every Wednesday they have flow yoga. And these are also recorded, so you can do them in your own time. I personally attended the first one last week, and it was a very intense full body workout. It had lots of cardio, and suffice to say, I felt very good afterwards because I believe that during exercise we release endorphins. So it helps us be a bit more happy and for distress a little bit. And then another resource that I found useful on exercise is the YMCA at Home YouTube channel. Many of when I started looking for exercise from home, I looked at full body workouts and Pilates workouts and so forth, and I found some of them to be for advanced people who have an advanced level at exercising, who are already very fit and so forth. So I liked that the YMCA folks on their YouTube channel, they have sub-channels for even beginners. and you can find their strength workouts or yoga and Pilates for beginners and so forth, and they are very nice. And most of them do not use equipment, so you can just do them at home whenever you want. And then I also tried yoga. Actually, when the pandemic started, my friend Yanan and I started an accountability group. It was more from me towards her because she already had an accountability group with her roommate, and it really helped stay on track of yoga and making it my habit, making it a regular daily habit, even though sometimes I would skip it because I wouldn't have time. But Yoga with Adrienne, the YouTube channel, is a very good place to start. And there are countless of videos that she has made over the last 6-7 years. And they are for everything. And I first started with the exercises for back pain, and I was blown away when I realized that they actually work and they they get rid of my back pain right away. And then on keeping sane, Jan pointed out a few resources at UBC. I also liked his first slide on the categories of status of your mental health. I personally used the resources at UBC. I don't know if you guys know, but through the AMS GSS insurance, we have access to, a few months ago was $500 per academic year. So I went, when I accessed these resources at the beginning of the year, I went over a few, I actually did a lot of research on this, on the counselors and psychologists in Vancouver and how much they cost. I called a bunch of people to find their rates and so forth. So I found a good one to be Psy Vitality. I'm not sure if AMS GSS still works with them, but for me, it covered 3 sessions. And I personally did cognitive behavioral therapy with a counselor from Psy Vitality. But I noticed that if you want to go higher, so to a psychologist, let's say, the rates also go up. But I've heard of the concept of pay what feels fair, or something in that, something similar to that, in which you negotiate your rate based on how much you can spend on mental health and on the therapy sessions. And I think that's it from me. These are my few resources that I have discovered over the last few months, ever since the beginning of this year, and more with the lockdown and work from home. The most important, the takeaway here is that if you create systems that keep you on track, then you will automatically start being on track. Do not rely on your willpower. Just create systems, reminders to stay on track, not only of your work, academic work, or whatever industry work, but also of your mental health, of your body health, and so forth, physical health. Yeah,